Hey, everybody. Good to see ya. Fun circumstances to be here. 500,000 subscribers. Absolutely blows my mind. This is crazy. It's crazy. Half a million. I can say half a million. How crazy is that? Man. Well, thank you all for being here. Looks like we got about 100 people right now. It's pretty awesome. We're going to do some polls today. I'm curious to get a pulse for how you guys are feeling today. So let's ask about this Lord of the Rings on Prime teaser, or should I say Rings of Power? Here we go. There's a poll for you. Yay or nay? How you feeling about that teaser? Shout out to Moon. Thanks for the super sticker. By the way, if you didn't see it in the pinned comment, I'm going to be using any super chats, super stickers from tonight's stream. That's going to go toward commissioning art from some of the great Tolkien artists that you see here on the channel. I've been in contact with some of them recently about doing some commissions, and I'm pretty pumped about it. I like the idea of getting more Tolkien artwork out there for the community to enjoy, in addition to um, having them here on the channel and everything. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. So all super chats, super stickers are going toward that tonight. Let's see here. I've got 92% at yay right now. I'll let it go for a little bit. That's pretty solid. Eric, shout out to Eric, friend of the channel, Eric. Congrats on 500K. Thanks so much. Voice of the Rings, thank you. Sandro the Great, a couple of nerds videos, and I was diving headfirst back into Tolkien's world after a long hiatus. Feels good. Awesome. I love hearing that. I love hearing stuff like that where people are encouraged to maybe read the Silmarillion for the first time and kind of use my videos as a supplement. That's awesome. I love hearing stuff like that. Let's see here. I think I just saw a super chat pop up. I want to make sure I catch those as they come up here. We got one from Sunny. Didn't type anything, but shout out to Sunny. Thank you so much. Josh, get that art. Nice. Thanks, man. We'll definitely be getting that art. Men of the West, Yoiston. Awesome guy. Yoiston is a great guy and was instrumental in, and still is, honestly. I ask him questions all the time, YouTube advice and stuff, and he's been a fantastic friend these last couple of years. And yeah, one of the great things about this channel is I've met a ton of people who also love Tolkien. And yeah, Yoiston is among the king's men there. Well, I shouldn't say king's men. That's the bad guys from Numenor. He is well, he's the men of the West. He's the good guys. He's a good guy. Angelic Storm, thank you so much for the $5. Of all movies over 46 years of living, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit is number one in my list. The greatest movies ever seen. Nothing can top them. Amen to that. Amen to that. Totally agree. Katie H, new to the channel. I love it so much and I've learned a lot. Well, welcome to the channel, Katie. Thanks so much for watching. Big Bird Stewart, your downright favorite Lord channel. Congrats on the achievement, dude. Thank you so much. Fingers Titan, he's always hanging out around here. Love it. Been around for a while now. It's been superb seeing this channel grow and grow. Amazing job, Matt. Thank you. Well, thank you, Fingers Titan. You're always hanging around in the chat, and I appreciate you being here. Seems like you're here every stream, which is awesome. Andrew Carlisle. Shout out to Andrew Carlisle, one of my excellent Patreon supporters who I've been talking about us trying to commission some art and everything. And big supporter of the channel, reminding everyone to hit that like button. Yes. That tells YouTube, hey, something cool is going on here. Let's send more people their way. Voice of the Rings, congrats on 500K. You deserve it. You've been one of my favorite channels for so long. Also a great friend to me. Thanks, Matt. Congrats, bro. Keep it up. Shout out to Voice of the Rings. Thanks so much, man. Voice of the Rings, he's like my Lotro expert. So when I have a question about Lord of the Rings online, he's my go-to guy. So if you're interested in Lotro, you should check out his channel. He's got some great guides, and he does a lot of gameplays and stuff as well. Isaac saying exactly what I was saying. I loved to hear earlier. Those videos were so helpful in my reading of the Silmarillion. Love it. Joey Boxer Rocks with the most ridiculous comment of the night. Matt for president. I don't know. President of what? Not a country, I hope. That sounds like a terrible idea. The modern Triskelion. Summarize your thoughts on the teaser real quick. Real quick. I'm not good at real quick. I'm a Tolkien fan. I expound and I talk for like half an hour on a 1-minute teaser, or 2 hours if you were here for the stream. Yeah, I thought it was solid. I thought it was I like the title. That was the main thing. It was a title reveal. I think Rings of Power has a certain, command to it. Has some gravitas. Yeah, I was just kind of crossing my fingers, like, I hope they don't name it something silly or something that we're just gonna be like, huh? But I thought Rings of Power's solid title. I'm really hoping for a trailer soon, because that would be awesome. So we have 90% saying yay. That's our final count. 90% say yay for the trailer, for the teaser, I should say. Title reveal. Yes. Max, thank you so much. $10. Congrats on 500K. Thanks so much, Max. I'm getting pumped. I see all these super chats coming in. I'm thinking about the Tolkien art that we can commission. So if you have ideas of things you'd like to see made, if you think, man, I've not seen many illustrations on that in Middle Earth, let us know. Type in the comments. Oh, I just saw someone say Nerdvenger. Coming in from the Den of Nerds. If you haven't checked it out yet, I did a podcast episode over on the Den of Nerds podcast, and it was a great time. Josh and I recently started talking to Josh, and I follow him in Star Wars Theory for all my Star Wars info, and Josh for Marvel stuff, and it was an awesome time. I talked his ear off for like 2 hours, basically, on Lord of the Rings, is essentially what happened in that podcast episode. So totally worth your time. Alan Simpson, thank you so much. Thanks for making me look like the nerdiest of my Lord of the Rings friends, Matt. I'm going to read the Silmarillion this year. Thanks to you. Big congrats on 500K. That's awesome, Alan. Well, update me later when I want to see, maybe when we do a, Lord willing, a 750K subscriber stream. I want to hear how your Silmarillion read through is going. Amazon Lord of the Rings. Any more thoughts? Oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts. It's mostly speculation. That's what I do in my commute time when I'm driving to work, is I think, well, what about this storyline? How could this play out? What's Gil-galad gonna do? What's young Elrond gonna do? I don't have anything solid because all we have is a title. I think it's gonna have to do with the Rings of Power. All right, new poll question. Since we're on Rings of Power, will we see a teaser at the Super Bowl? I predicted this back in like October, I think it was, on a OneRing.net stream. I said, I think maybe Super Bowl, because it's a huge event. They could go in and just totally steal the show if they have just a awesome teaser ready to go. And yeah, I would not be surprised. I hope they come out guns a-blazing. Not literally, because there's no guns in Middle Earth. But you know what I mean. They come out and just steal the show. Angel, thanks so much. Shout out to Angel, too. Angel is one of our awesome mods here who makes sure that our chat stays clean and, you know, a nice place for people to hang out. Because everybody wants to hang out in a nice place. Angel keeps the place nice. Congratulations again on 500K. Looking forward to more. And let's get that art. Yes. Doltham Scramble, your videos have helped me bring the Silmarillion and others into better clarity and understanding. Love it. Love hearing it. Alicia, just joining. Great job, Matt. Thanks. And welcome to the channel. Darth Hylian? Hylian? Am I saying that right? I feel like, is that a Zelda thing? Hylian? Or am I thinking of something else? I played a lot of Breath of the Wild over like last holidays with my kids, but it's been a while. Anyway, have you ever considered writing your own fan fiction Middle Earth story? You might be good with your expansive knowledge. Not really. I think if I did something creative like that, it would probably be like I have a couple ideas for a short film. Some which would be adaptations of stories, some that would be more fan fiction-y. Yeah, I have more of a video background than a writing background. So I would lean toward that because I don't think I could, my writing skills would not be up to par with what we would expect of someone writing in Middle Earth. So yeah, no, I don't think I would write. I'm not likely to write a book anytime soon, I don't think. Of Gondor, see? Of Gondor's got a Lord of the Rings fan fiction for you. The Lost Seeing Stones. Started as a D&D campaign, turned into a full script. Nice. Dark-haired one, thanks so much for the $10. Keep up the excellent work on all your videos. Thank you so much, Dark-haired one. You'll notice that name from the end slide of all my videos as a Patreon supporter. Are you excited for Lord of the Rings on Prime? Yes. Yes, Ephraim, I am excited. I would be more excited to see some footage from it. I'm really curious what like the actors look like in costume and what the costumes themselves look like. And yeah, I want to see Numenor. I'm ready. They only released that one image and it's a Valinor. And I don't know how that fits in. My guess is that that fits in a prologue sequence, maybe in those first couple episodes or something. But that's, again, there's a lot of guesswork right now being a fan. Kevin says, I started the Silmarillion because of you and your videos. Thank you. Well, thank you, Kevin, for sharing. Like I said, I love hearing that. I love it when people start reading the Silmarillion, especially. Don't forget to read Children of Hurin, because it's legit. Can we try to raise 500K for art commissions in honor of 500K subs? That's a lot of Ks, man. Or, I'm sorry, Alicia, that's a lot of Ks. I don't think we can raise that many Ks. Yeah, that's a lot of Ks. Maybe if we drop off the K, we might have a chance at 500. We'll see. Modern Triskelion, I agree. I'm not sure what you're referring to. It's probably something I said earlier. So I'm not sure where that fit in the conversation. Sorry. But I see your agreement. Rings of Power makes the most sense. Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's a great name. I like it. Have you ever seen Lord of the Rings tubs? The rubber ducks? Have I ever? Right here. There's Gollum. Tubbs actually sent me this. And I did a little giveaway on Instagram once of a Saruman duck, but this one's my favorite because it's like a duck with teeth, which is kind of the creepiest thing you've ever seen, really. A duck with teeth, but he's really cool. Yeah, one of my sons is a really big Gollum fan, so he really likes that duck. You should try to interview Stephen Colbert about Tolkien lore. That would be a lot of fun. I did reach out to one of them, one of their I don't know what you'd call them, somebody at like CBS at the Late Show or something to request, and they very politely, basically he didn't have time or whatever. They were very polite, but it was like a very polite no. So we'll see. Maybe someday. We'll see. Yeah, I just kind of take them as I can get them. And I've been super fortunate in the people that I've been able to interview here on the channel. Um, Speaking of which, next week, next Wednesday, we will have an interview premiering with Daniel Faulkner of Weta Workshop, and it is awesome. I just recorded it this past week. We talked for a little over 2 hours, and there are some great gems from his time. He was a designer on Lord of the Rings. He did all of the Hobbit Chronicles books, which you can see right here. These books. A lot of you will probably have those on your own bookshelves. But he's the one who wrote those. He wrote the great big Middle Earth from script to screen book. And I got to pick his brain about all kinds of stuff. We talked about my idea for the Mithril edition with the supercuts of Lord of the Rings and all the behind the scenes stuff. And he said, send me that link. I want to sign the petition as well. So if you haven't seen that yet, the link is also in the description. So those two things are there in the description. One of the interesting things that I asked him about that I'll tease a little bit here is I asked him if there was enough unused behind the scenes material where he could make a Hobbit Chronicles book of Guillermo del Toro's The Hobbit. And he said, yes, absolutely. He said he wasn't sure who would be in charge of that, like who could make that happen, but there is definitely enough stuff. So that sounds like a new petition right there, is give us a Hobbit Chronicles book of Guillermo del Toro's The Hobbit, because we haven't seen much from that. Gordianus the Finder, congratulations on reaching 500K. I'm curious how you think that the fact the Rings of Power will have to create new lore to fill in the blanks that Tolkien left. It's kind of a bit of a double-edged sword, really, because on one hand, that gives them a lot of freedom to create things and create dialogue, create, they can kind of play in a sandbox, so to speak. What's a young Elrond going to be doing during this time? What's he going to be like? He at the start of the Second Age, he's like in his 70s, maybe, I think, something like that. Somebody might be able to double check me on that, but he's pretty young for an elf. So what's he going to be like, and what's his character development going to be like over the course of the Second Age till we see him in the Third Age, where he's the wise, one of the great wizards of the world at that point. So there's a lot of things like that where they have a lot of freedom. The other side is when you don't have Tolkien's words, that's a huge advantage. We saw kind of in the difference between Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, like they had to make up a lot of dialogue and stuff for The Hobbit, which I think they did really well in a lot of places. But that's a tall order, to basically try to come up with your own dialogue and stuff that stands toe to toe with Tolkien, one of the greatest writers of all time. I mean, that's no small task. So we'll see how they do. Hopefully they do a great job. I would really love this show to be just amazing. Tolkien Guide, congrats on such a big milestone. Thank you so much. If y'all haven't seen on Twitter, Tolkien Guide posted a handy little translation from the title reveal of Amazon's series, where the Elvish script on the side of the letters. That's where, if you saw my breakdown, I mentioned what it said. Basically, it was the translation for like the one for the Dark Lord or something like that. But Tolkien Guide went through and translated all the letters that we could catch glimpses of, and it's essentially the ring verse, but it's a really fascinating look. So definitely check that out on Twitter if you haven't already. Marco, fantastic Tolkien artist. Maybe we'll be commissioning some art from Marco here soon with all these super chats. Thanks so much, Marco. All right. Dark Lord Revan. Hey, they're making a video game with that guy, right? They're making all kinds of Star Wars video games. Can Lord of the Rings get one game? We're getting the Gollum game. Can we get 2 games? Because Star Wars gets all the video games. So many. They're even getting a new Lego game, finally, after like 3 years of waiting. My kids thought I was a liar because I told them there was a new Lego Star Wars game like 3 years ago. All right. Anyway, I'll read your chat now. Congrats on the subs. Have you heard of the channel Zorp? He's building a Minas Tirith for the Lord of the Rings miniature game down in Australia. I have not. I'll have to check that out. It sounds cool. I love it when people build their own statues, and I've been watching a lot of like custom Lego builds of like giant Lego builds lately. I kind of, how you fall down the YouTube rabbit hole. I've kind of done that where where people are building like a huge scale black gate with all these orc soldiers and stuff like that. Yeah, Ephraim, 400K it was about 3 months ago, I think, something like that we were celebrating. Celebrating 400K. Fingers Tighten. Netflix have been having after parties to their exclusive shows. Would you be up for being the resident Tolkien scholar, and would you be doing a reaction stream after each show? This is a great question. And another thing I had on my list to tell you all today is that my plan for Rings of Power, when it comes out, granted, it's still like, 7.5 months away, something like that. My plan right now is to have a watch party for each episode the night it comes out. So we'll hang out kind of like we did with the Fellowship of the Ring 20th stream. We'll all queue it up. I'll have a timer going, so you'll have to queue it up on your own device because copyright. I can't stream it, but we'll all queue it up together, watch it, and then after the episode finishes, we'll react to it and we'll have some awesome discussion. And then I will also be doing breakdown videos after each episode to point out not only like plot points, but also maybe Easter eggs that you might have missed, kind of theorize on based on what happened in a particular episode, what I think might happen next. So those are the kind of the big things that I'm planning around the show that I think will be a lot of fun. Zero asks, how old is Galadriel by the time of the War of the Ring? I want to say it's like 7,000, something like that. And that's actually a very interesting question, because if you go by the nature of Middle Earth standards, the new configuration that we got from that, instead of Valiant years equaling 9.5 regular years, they equal 144. So it could be a very, very big difference. It pushes like some characters up to like 70,000 years old or something crazy like that. KG, thanks so much for the 25. A large thumbs down to Meglin for killing thousands of elves after getting friend zoned by his cousin. Thumbs down to Meglin. There you go. Yeah, not cool. Betraying your own people to Morgoth. That's bad. Anna Rose Larson, congrats on 500K. Thanks so much, Anna Rose. Jared, I totally agree. Amazon can afford time in the Super Bowl for sure. Angelic Storm, thanks so much for the $10. Question for you. Was the reason Eowyn was able to kill the Witch King was because the dagger Mary stabbed him with took away his powers? I've heard it was blessed by the men of the West. Yes, so the barrow blade, as it is called, that Mary uses, and all the hobbits actually receive from Tom Bombadil after the Barrow Downs. Those were made by the men of Arnor specifically to fight in the Angmar Wars against the Witch King. So basically the way I've read it and had it explained to me at various points was that essentially severs his connection to Sauron and makes him vulnerable. So it's certainly a 1-2 punch between Merry and Eowyn, finishing off the Witch King. Alex P. Aldarion and Arendis is the best look into Numenor. That's a great little story. I don't know if we'll see that. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that in the show. But if you haven't read it, you should definitely check it out. Dirk says, late is the hour in which this conjurer chooses to appear. It's 3 a.m. here. Had to catch my first live stream. Congrats again. Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Sorry to keep you up so late or wake you up so early. All right. I'm going to try to catch up here. Lady of Andunier, thank you so much. $50. Holy cow. May the wind under your wings bear you where the sun sails and the moon walks. To many more, dear friend, best from the Tolkien Society U.S. time zone lead. Hit the like button, subscribe, follow. See you all at Oxenmoot. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Yeah, we've been chatting a little bit over email and stuff. Yeah, I'm excited for Oxenmoot. I'm so glad, like, of all the crappy things that have happened over the last couple years, being able to have Oxenmoot virtually for those of us here in the US is kind of great. Like, I'm really glad that they've continued to do that even post 2020. Yeah, one day that's kind of like a bucket list item. I think it'd be awesome to actually go to Oxenmoot overseas, but in the meantime, I'll be logging on virtually with I'm sure a lot of my fellow US peeps. Eric, thank you so much. Looking forward to chatting with you about the Prime Video series. You'll have at least 750K until then. We'll see what happens over the next what did I say? How long do we have? 7.5 months, something like that. September 2nd is the big day. Yes, I'm definitely looking forward, Eric, to chatting with you, getting your thoughts. And Eric, if you haven't followed him, Film Lore, he's on Twitter, and they have a website, an English language website from Norway. And they cover all kinds of films. So not just Lord of the Rings, but he's doing an awesome series of articles. And in one of them, he talks about the fandom, and he was kind enough to interview me for it. So that'll be coming out sometime. Well, Eric can tell you when that's coming out. Sometime later this year. But yeah, thanks so much, Eric. Matt would live as a historian in Rivendell or Minas Tirith. Yeah, I would be down for living in Rivendell, 100%. Oh, this is a good question. Matt, do you think we'll see the dwarf Narvi and Celebrimbor create the Doors of Durin in the show? It would be awesome to see their friendship during that time. That would be awesome. I think we will definitely see the Doors of Durin. I don't know if we'll see them be created unless it's in a prologue. If I had to guess, I would think they might already be created by the time the bulk of the show takes place. But we might still meet Narvi, depending on how they do the timeline and everything. He might still be around and everything. And yeah, that'd be a cool thing. If nothing else, I would love to see it in a prologue sequence and just, you know, them mentioning the friendship between the elves of Eregion and the dwarves of Khazad-dûm. John, thanks so much for the $5 holla. Do you think they will show the sinking of Beleriand, Morgoth, other First Age stuff, or is it strictly Second Age material? That is the big question, honestly. Because it depends on what they have the rights to show. There's been some rumors that they might have gotten some Silmarillion rights, but I have never heard official confirmation of that. So it's all just conjecture and rumor at this point. But if they have the rights to, I can't imagine them passing up the opportunity to, at least in a prologue sequence, to show us First Age material. Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. It'd be pretty daunting to both have to figure out a look for Morgoth and a look for Sauron, because that's a huge character. Not that they couldn't do it, but that'd be an interesting thing to tackle. You see a lot of artwork, and Morgoth and Sauron look very similar. So making them just different enough. That's another thing that Daniel Faulkner and I actually talked about. He talks about the original design for the Witch King in the Battle of Pelennor Fields and how it was different and his weaponry was different initially. So you want to hear more about that, but it has to do with Sauron, why they changed it. Finn Trago, thanks so much. Congrats, Matt. This is only the beginning for your awesome channel. 2 million subs by the end of the year. I don't know about that. That's a lot of subs. That is a lot of subs. We'll see where it goes. You know, just keep riding this ride, having fun and talking Tolkien. Shlukin Razak, thanks so much for the super sticker, my friend. All right, let's end this poll. I've had this poll going for super long. Okay, so 64% think that we will be getting a teaser during the Super Bowl. That's actually a little lower than I expected. I feel like my guess was pretty good all those months ago. But they did just release the title reveal. And the Super Bowl's like 3 weeks away. So they'd be pretty close together, but could make a really nice 1-2 punch. Celebrimbor, do you have any plans to open your creative process to collaborations? I'm sure there are many among us who could bolster your writing team if you want. I haven't put a whole lot of thought into it. Right now, it's just me doing everything. I could see maybe trying to, bring on some folks to do some editing, maybe. That's a pretty big time-consuming part. I like the idea of writing myself because I feel like, I think there's an advantage to reading your own words that you've typed, and it feels a bit more like me than reading what someone else has written, kind of thing. But yeah, maybe editing. That might be something that I could see trying to get some help with, especially with the Amazon show coming up, and it's gonna get busy for like 8 weeks, well, or however many episodes there are. It's gonna be busy. A lot of sleepless nights, I have a feeling. Derek, thanks so much for the $10 holla. New subscriber within the last week or so, and was wondering your thoughts of if Maleficent was in Middle Earth, how would she fare as the mistress of evil? Huh. Maleficent. Are we talking like the cartoon or the Angelina Jolie version? It's been a while since I've seen either one. I know the cartoon, she can turn into a dragon, which is pretty epic. But, I don't know. That's a pretty out there question. That's definitely a first. I've never had a Disney character question being inserted into Middle Earth. I'm always going to side with the Middle Earth people. I'm going to say Galadriel could take her. Yeah. Galadriel could take her. Durin, are you on Twitch? I do have a Twitch account. I don't use it very often because I just, at the moment, I don't have time to do much gaming. I'm hoping to do more. I'm hoping to have a dedicated home office space here pretty soon. Where I right now, my wife, bless her, she like takes the kids back to the bedroom so I can have a quiet. I'm in the corner of my living room. I've never showed this before, but I'm in the corner of my living room is where this is set up. And yeah, it's just a tiny little corner of our living room. And yeah, my wife keeps the kids quiet. That's why I do some of these so late, is because the kids are already in bed. But yeah, hopefully eventually I'll have a dedicated space and be able to do more impromptu streams during various parts of the day. Paul Martin, congrats on 500K subscribers. You earned it. I'm just curious if you ever had listened to Luthien Lament by, oh gosh, how do you pronounce her name? Uriel? Well, you guys can read it on YouTube. Thank you for all the videos and have a good night. I have, yeah, I've listened to a fair number of her songs. It's really good stuff. I've had that on in the background before, I'm pretty sure, as I edit and stuff like that. Great stuff. There's some great Tolkien inspired music out there. Can you show us your bookshelf? There it is. There's the bookshelf. There's a Lego bag end right there. We got some little Funko Pop mystery guys. Got a Build-A-Bear Golem. I've got more mini epics. They're in the closet right now until I get the nerd cave up and running. That's what I'm calling the dedicated space. Alex says you were my first subscription on YouTube. That's awesome. Thanks, man. Samuel would love to see Shadow of Numenor art. Shadow of Numenor. So like the dark time of Numenor, like with Sauron there and everything. That would be cool. Brandon, thanks so much. 500K subscribers are very well deserved. Can't wait for the Rings of Power. That's another thing I did love about the teaser. I love the pronunciation of Mordor. Guillermo del Toro should direct an episode of the show. That would be awesome. But I think part of the appeal of Guillermo del Toro is his design and everything. Like some of the creature design. Can you imagine what Guillermo del Toro wargs would look like? Celebrimbor, making up lore? Question mark. I swear to Iluvatar, if they inject another Tauriel, and why does it hurt so much into my Lord of the Rings, I'm canceling my Amazon Prime subscription. Oh man. So for the record, I've said this before. I like Tauriel as a character. I do not like the love triangle. That's where I draw the line. As a character, as an archer, as an awesome, warrior elf, she's great. Evangeline Lilly, awesome actress. I love her in pretty much everything that I've seen her in. Like, I was a big fan of Lost. She's the Wasp in Marvel movies. Awesome. It was just that dang love triangle. New channel member. Thank you so much for joining, my friend. Make sure you go to the community tab so you can get access to the exclusive Discord. We have all kinds of chats in there. We've been talking a lot about commissioning art. So for those of you joining late, all super chats are going toward commissioning some of my favorite artists whose work you've seen here on the channel. We're going to get some new artwork made. That's kind of one of my goals going forward with the channel is to get some new artwork for the Tolkien community to enjoy. So this is kind of jump starting that. Party de Moment. Congrats on 500K. Just wondering, are you planning on making a massive video on the full travels of the Fellowship of the Ring? I've covered a lot of the Fellowship in their own individual videos, so I'll probably continue with that. The next big one for that would probably be like a Frodo and Sam video, complete travels of Frodo and Sam. Yeah, I guess I could do a full travels of the Fellowship of the Ring, but there'd be a lot of crossover from videos I've already done. So I feel like I probably have quite a few other things on my list to do before that compilation. That would be an epic one. I'm feeling tired just from the amount of sleep I would lose doing one that big. Of Gondor with the exact count, 219 days until the show. Oh, that was another thing I was about to say. Another thing I loved about the title reveal was the pronunciation of Mordor. In the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. Rob Zip, thanks so much for the $5. Oh, our new member just also did his first super chat. Fantastic. Congrats from Brazil. I have the Bolzeros channel, the Baggins in England. Okay. I think I've seen your channel actually. I love your videos of the complete travels. Well, thanks so much. Do you think Amazon will have great new merchandise? I hope so. I hope we get like the whole 9 yards like we did with the Peter Jackson movies. I hope for like replica swords and stuff. That's another fun thing. So I'll let you in on this little secret. I got a secret package from United Cutlery that I am going to unbox in a video and see what it is. I think there's a sword in there. We'll see. But stay tuned for that. That'll be in like a couple weeks. So I'm going to try to have that up for the following Wednesday after my interview with Daniel from Weta. Ambient Worlds, congrats on 500K. Well deserved and good luck for the future. Shout out to Ambient Worlds. Ambient Worlds actually shared on their channel when I was getting close to 500K to encourage their subscribers to come subscribe to me. So I appreciate that so much. You should definitely go check out Ambient Worlds. I actually discovered them through them tagging me, and I've been listening to their Middle Earth tracks while I edit these this last week. So definitely go check them out. See, of Gondor also loves you. We all love you, Ambient Worlds. Send It says, the only reason I'm watching the Super Bowl is for the possible Lord of the Rings trailer. It's not a bad reason. Makes sense to me. None of my teams are going to be in it, that's for sure. Not even close. Celebrimbor. Aldarion and Arendis is like the only actual story about Numenor outside of the list of kings and the description of the geography. Don't forget the dancing bears. If you read the Nature of Middle Earth book, there's a nice tidbit about dancing bears. So, yeah. Apparently, they used to perform for the Numenorians. But if the Numenorians laughed at them, the bears would get angry. If there's one thing you don't want is a bear to be angry at you. I'm really curious as to who they think the Witch King was as a mortal man. It's odd that Tolkien named Kamul, but not the king of the Nazgul. That is kind of odd. Yeah. That the one that we know by name is actually the second in command of the ring wraiths. We do know that 3 of them were Numenorians, were Numenorian lords. So I would not be surprised if we end up meeting them in the Amazon show and they end up being a Numenorian lord, the Witch King. That's my guess. Jake, thanks so much for the super chat, my friend. Dirk, what was the one moment you felt the real connection with Tolkien that dragged you ever deeper into the lore? So I've said this before, but I was actually introduced from by the films to Tolkien's world. And so it was probably I always gravitate toward the Argonath scene because there are these massive statues, but you can tell that they're not new and they've been around for a super long time. And I just had to know what the story was with those statues after watching the film. So yeah, and it was just kind of a spiral from there, really, just diving deeper and deeper. Christopher, been here since 20K. That's awesome. Been around for a while. Strider Wolf, yeah. So, any plans for the channel with the rollout of Amazon series? Hopefully, you get another 500K. Yeah. So I mentioned it earlier, but we'll be doing watch parties, and I'll be doing breakdown videos for each episode. So we'll see what time. Usually, it's like in the middle of the night. So we'll have to think on that. Maybe I stay up super late and we do a watch party like as soon as it drops. That'd be kind of cool. I used to do that in much younger days of my life. Stay up super late. Back then, we would stay up super late and go to like a movie theater at midnight when they actually debuted at midnight. And when you actually had to go to a movie theater to watch a new movie. That was a thing. Voice of the Rings. It's weird that the Rings of Power TV show will come out September and not December like all the Hobbits and Lord of the Rings. You think we'll get Dwarf Rings of Power? 100% we'll get Dwarf Rings of Power. I think the name of the show kind of dictates that we will have to see all the Rings of Power in action. So we'll see. I'm predicting that we'll see the men that Sauron corrupts into the Nazgul. We'll see the dwarves get rings. Even if we don't follow all of them, we'll see them get like dispersed. Because I think we'll see Sauron claim them from Eregion. That's my guess. Yeah, it will be a little different to have it in September, but I think Disney's kind of locked up December with like Mandalorian every year, basically. So maybe they don't want to go up against the Mandalorian. I will say that last episode of Boba Fett is pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, 420 likes. Hit that like button. I'm seeing 497 now. Very cool. That shows how far behind I am scrolling through these comments. If you could change only one thing about the Hobbit trilogy, what would it be? No love triangle. Boom. Cut. Love triangle in the dumpster. It immediately gets like 30% better. 32% better. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's really like that's my biggest thing. I also am not a big fan of Alfred, to be honest. That character kind of grinds my gears a little bit. But yeah, if it was one thing, if you're limiting me to one thing, I would cut out the love triangle stuff with Keeley, Legolas, and Tauriel, and just let Tauriel be an awesome elf warrior. And that's it. Elendil and Gil-galad versus Sauron. Season finale, hour-long fight. I think that will be series finale. If this is going to be like a 5-season show, I think the War of the Last Alliance will be the last episode of the entire series. Yeah. And I think that would be an amazing battle to see. 2 versus 1, hand-to-hand combat. Be great stuff. Pirate Dad, hey, Nerd of the Rings, just wanted to say I hope you're having a precious day. Just rewatched Fellowship of the Ring last night and I'm about to start Two Towers tonight. Nice. Well, thanks so much for the super chat. Enjoy your time in Middle Earth. Two Towers. Love it. Helm's Deep, man. It's got to be one of the greatest battle sequences ever on film. So good. Cody Rish, thanks for the super sticker. KH started watching the movies for the very first time yesterday after the series teaser, but right off the bat, I can say I like the movie narration much more than the teaser. That's fair. Yeah. That's what yeah, I think a lot of people, you know, were a little caught off guard because it's very similar to Kate Blanchett's narration, like the ring verse lines. And who's going to go toe to toe with Kate Blanchett? I mean, there's a reason that she's getting nominated for Oscars left and right and stuff. she's incredible. So yeah, I mean, it's just a teaser. So, we'll see what Morvid Clark is like as Galadriel, young Galadriel. But yeah, I'm hopeful that she'll do a good job. It's just the ring verse narration. It's just for a title reveal. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get more of her dialogue in an actual teaser. I'd love to see that. But yeah, I mean, you can't. The prologue to Fellowship of the Ring is one of the greatest openings to a film of all time, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm not going to fault the teaser, the title reveal too much for not being better than the greatest film opening of all time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I'm not going to argue that, it was better than Kate Blanchett's. There's no way. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it all turns out. Angelic Storm, think they will ever make a sequel to Melkor escaping the timeless void, the Dagor Dagorath? I doubt it. I think even Tolkien was kind of so on the how canon the Dagor Dagorath and that whole idea was. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, the nice thing about Return of the King, it ties it up so nicely. Everything ends so well. And like, there's so many things going back. That'll be one of the cool things of the show, if they pull it off well, is seeing Numenor and the men of Numenor, Aragorn's ancestors, fail and fall to darkness. And even the ones that pushed through that darkness and found Gondor and everything, like Isildur, still falls to the influence of the One Ring. So like, there's this history of men just falling short, and Aragorn is the culmination that finally, fulfills, finally does what all his ancestors could not do. And that kind of ties it all up in a bow really nicely. But hey, I'll watch whatever comes out as Tolkien. So if someone makes a Dagor Dagorath movie, you can bet that I will watch it for sure, because it sounds epic. Casey, congratulations. I'm wanting to get a Lord of the Rings tattoo, and I'm wondering if you have any cool tattoos. I'm sorry to disappoint. I have 0 tattoos. I don't have any tattoos. I'm just kind of like, I'm not a big tattoo person, I guess. I don't know. I think, yeah. I don't know. I've never really considered very much getting a tattoo. If I did get something, I could see it being something Tolkien. Like, I know that how the Fellowship from the films, they all got the Elvish word for 9 for the 9 members of the Fellowship. That's kind of cool. So I could see something. It would probably be very small. I'm not about to get like, a Smaug on my back or something. And don't even try to talk me into doing that for like 1 million subscribers, because I'm not going to do that, because I'm kind of scared that it would happen way too fast and then I'd have to get a tattoo. Doldum Scramble. My biggest issue with the films is Faramir's susceptibility to the ring. I always liked the thought that Gandalf's teaching helped him resist. Yeah, that's a very common one that you know, Faramir in the books, he does not take them to Osgiliath. So that whole portion is made up. Like he's much more influenced and tempted by the ring. Um yeah, it is much better in the book. So, you know, he kind of realizes like what it did to his brother, which he kind of gets there in the end in the films too. But I like the idea that, you know, he is wiser than that, you know, for all the might of his brother. Um, you know, Faramir's the wise one, and not if it was sitting by the side of the road would he take it. Derek, any other evil female characters like Baruthiel? She totally screams DC Comics Catwoman. Oh, are there more? Are there more evil female characters? I don't know if there's any named ones, honestly. Huh. I'm blanking. If there are, I'm totally blanking on it. Marshall became a new member. Thanks so much, Marshall. A video about speaking Sindarin would be awesome. Yeah, so that's another thing I would really like to do sometime in the future is kind of like an intro to each language and like give you a few phrases. Obviously with Dwarvish, you've got Baruk Kazad, which means axes of the dwarves. And then Kazad Menu, which means the dwarves are upon you. It's epic. That's probably my favorite one. It's not Sindarin, but Kimberly 80, yeah, she does make really incredible artwork. That's definitely an artist that I would love to reach out to. Yeah, I have to see, you know, part of it is seeing if they even do commissions and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, really pumped. For those who've come in late, all the super chats tonight is going to kind of jumpstart commissioning new artwork. So I'm going to be reaching out to Tolkien illustrators to try to get some more Tolkien artwork for the fandom to enjoy. Because I was talking over with my Patreon supporters and we think it would be really cool. so that's what we're doing because it'd be cool. Howard Shore was a genius with the music of Middle Earth. Do you think John Williams could add anything new music-wise to Middle Earth? Probably. I mean, John Williams. So, you know, Howard Shore is like what he did with Lord of the Rings, I feel like is the best film series as a collective whole. But you look at John Williams, like the guy has come up with so many iconic themes. Like, I mean, he did Jaws, he did Star Wars, he did Indiana Jones, he did Harry Potter. Like, it's crazy. The guy's list. You look through the list of films that he's done scores for, and it is insane. So yeah, I mean, why not? Who would say no to John Williams doing anything that you're a fan of? Happy Camper, when are we fundraising for a Tom Bombadil fan film played by Jack Black? Give the people what they want. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. We know he can sing, and that is definitely a prerequisite for playing Tom Bombadil, because that guy is here to sing. Celebrimbor, thanks again for the super chat. Which chapter from across all of Tolkien is your favorite and why? I have a bias toward not liking the part where Celebrimbor dies for obvious reasons. Oh man. That's tough. There's a lot of great ones. I was just reading Pelennor Fields with Theoden's speech is pretty incredible. And spoiler alert, my video on Saturday is on Theoden. So I've been reading Theoden parts to like prep and script for that. And the fact that he's described as being, they compare him to Orome, the Valar huntsman, which is crazy because, Theoden's a mortal man and not even like descended from the Edain or Numenor. Like he's just a guy, a regular guy from Middle Earth. He's a king, obviously, but man, to be compared to a Valar, it's pretty stinking epic. Other than that, I love in Children of Hurin the dialogue between Morgoth and Hurin. So good. Like hearing that whole section. If you've heard the audiobook by Christopher Lee, it's fantastic. But yeah, those are two that immediately come to mind. I'm sure if I sat and thought about it, I could come up with like a dozen more probably. Riddles in the Dark, as I just read this next comment with Gollum. Riddles in the Dark is pretty classic. I've heard that Gollum can be spotted somewhere in the Argonath scene, maybe on the actual statues. Have you seen him? I have not. I've never heard this. Huh. Well, now I know what I'm going to look up immediately after this because I'm really curious. That's crazy. If that's true, that would be crazy. I would think that, now that it's out in 4K, it should be easier to spot him, right? Can you do a video on the Sons of Feanor? Tell you what, I'll do videos on the Sons of Feanor. That's on my list. I'm going to do them, I think, either one per son or, like pair them up. If they have a lot of overlap in their stories, then I'll pair them up. So I'm not being redundant. All right. This is an awesome chat tonight, guys. Thank you for the channel. I got into Lord of the Rings when I was a child watching Rankin and Bass, Hobbit, and Return of the King. Yeah, that Rankin Bass Hobbit is pretty great. I do really enjoy it. It's a great kids movie. And like the Smaug has like this hair stuff like coming out of the side of his head. It's kind of interesting. I was always like, what is that? Trey Taylor, do you have a favorite song from Tolkien? The Song of Durin. Yes. Clamavi de Profundi on YouTube has an excellent rendition of that. Gives me chills every single time. They do a great job of sounding like dwarves singing the song, and it's awesome. I haven't listened to that for a while, so now I really want to go listen to it. I've learned so much from your channel. Thank you for all you do for the fandom. I hope the new show lives up to the hype. Me too. And thank you for the super chat. Yeah. Man, I hope like I told Josh on the Den of Nerds podcast the other day. Like I said before, I just recorded a podcast with Josh over at Den of Nerds. So check that out on whatever platform you get your podcast. But yeah, if this show, like I don't think anybody expects it to live up to the trilogy, the film trilogy. It's one of the greatest sets of films of all time. Like that's a huge bar to clear. But if it even comes close, it'll be a huge hit if it comes close to capturing that magic. We'll see. Dorwin Gray, thanks so much for the super chat. Jared Wright, CGI Saruman in Amazon series like in Rogue One. So I guess you're talking like how they did Grand Moff Tarkin, even though Peter Cushing had passed away like a long time ago. So we shouldn't see Saruman in the Amazon series because he doesn't show up until 1,000 years into the Third Age. And same for Gandalf and Radagast. They all show up much later. What we might see is the two blue wizards because they show up in 1600 of the Second Age at the same time as Glorfindel. So we might get some fan favorite characters that we've never seen before. Glorfindel would be a huge one, obviously. But the Blue Wizards are a great mystery, but we might see them. Might see them show up. Could be pretty awesome. The Hunter, hopefully Morvid Clark does a good job for young Galadriel. Yeah, I hope so. I can't even imagine the pressure of being like, I mean, it was one thing back, for the original guys when they were in their trilogy, but now like Lord of the Rings, in media has been this huge thing. Middle Earth has been this huge thing. And so now you get cast in that. It's got to be like simultaneously the most exciting thing in the world and the most terrifying, I would think. But I'm not an actor, so I don't know. I don't know what the emotions. That's my guess. Do you prefer Mordor or Mordor? I love the rolling R's. Mordor. I feel like 4 R's is a little much. So I'm going to go with Mordor. Yeah. Fullback Smaug tattoo, extended edition. It's a lot of tattoo. Yeah, I really shouldn't have even brought up the tattoo idea. Patrick Miranda became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. How to speak fluent Kuzdul on Nerd of the Rings. I'm not going to advertise fluent for sure. And the interesting thing about Kuzdul is Tolkien doesn't give us the whole language like we get with some of the Elven languages. So they have what's called Neo Kuzdul, which is where people have basically taken the pieces Tolkien gives us and formulated the whole alphabet and everything. So I don't know if it shows up. If it shows up here below my video, I actually have a shirt that is Nerd of the Rings translated into Neo Kuzdul, which is really cool. I've got one of those. I haven't gotten in the mail yet, but I'm really pumped for those. I had the Duero Scholar. He's on Twitter and Twitch and a bunch of social media platforms, but he helped me out big time by translating what we came up with for Nerd of the Rings, because there's not an actual word for nerd, believe it or not, in Dwarvish. So it's like obsessive knower instead of nerd, which I think is a pretty great translation. Which Lord of the Ring film interviews was the most exciting and interesting for you? Also, have you seen YouTube binging with Babish Lord of the Ring cooking? I have not. I haven't seen that channel. Of the interviews, gosh, they've all been really, really fun. This might be recency bias, but I feel like John Rhys Davies might take the cake because it was just so fun and he was such a super nice guy, super generous with his time. I expect us to go for like an hour and we went for 2. Just absolutely amazing guy. And Gimli being one of my favorite characters from the entire film series, that was an awesome experience. Like putting on my Gimli helmet and then him going and grabbing his Gimli helmet for the ending of that interview is just awesome. That's why it's the banner image on my Twitter and Facebook and stuff, because it's just like you can tell, like, and when he read the description of the glittering caves that Gimli does in the book, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little bit emotional just hearing those words in his Gimli voice and everything, and I was just smiling like ear to ear. I was just so pumped. I love the podcast with Josh. Thank you for helping the Nerd Vengers of Den of Nerds get a better idea of the Legendarium. They have all been talking about how much they enjoyed it. Well done. Awesome. Dude, that's great. Thank you for the super chat. That is great to hear. Yeah, have enjoyed Josh's channel for quite a while and watch Nerd Theory to get my dose of Star Wars news every week. So yeah, it was awesome getting to talk to Josh. He's a super cool guy. So yeah, if you guys have never checked out Den of Nerds, that's a great channel for especially Star Wars and Marvel stuff. He knows his stuff. The way I know Tolkien is how he knows his Star Wars and Marvel. So you should definitely check it out. But yeah, Josh is awesome. Had a lot of fun, absolutely talking his ear off. Patrick, thanks so much for the super chat. Been introducing my 9-year-old to Lord of the Rings through the films, and she has so many questions. I've been sending her to your channel. Congrats on 500K. You deserve it. Oh, that's awesome. Well, and see, and that's part of the reason that this is a family-friendly channel, folks. Yes, family-friendly. I love it. I will say one of the most bizarre feelings I've ever had was when my 9-year-old turned on my one of my videos while I was snoozing on the couch one weekend morning, and I woke up to the sound of my own voice, which is a really weird thing to wake up to. Farmer Maggot should be compared to the Valar. He's the toughest of all living things. He did tell the ring wraiths to buzz off, which is pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to do a Farmer Maggot. It'd be a short video, but it would be a fun one. Thank you for this channel. Been watching for a year, and you reignited my love for Tolkien and introduced me to the expanded books. That's awesome. Love hearing that. Yeah, if you get one thing out of this channel, I hope it's encouragement to go read the books, because there's no substitute. Do you ever feel like George McFly when Marty wants to see what he is writing? That's me whenever I think about sharing any of my own writings. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm not about to do any kind of professional writing for sure. Nerd of the Rings, nice to catch a stream. My wife and I have been really enjoying the content lately, binging so many stories. Awesome. United We Stand, thanks for the $20 super chat. Congrats on 500K. Also, I love the interview with John Rhys Davies. Your pacing and source citing in your videos are why I watch. That's awesome. So glad you like the videos, and yeah, I'm glad that my my voice doesn't annoy too many people. That was one of the hardest things in the early days to get over, was editing and hearing my own voice over and over. Harry Potter Theory, congrats on 500K. Great work. Thanks so much. Harry Potter Theory, that's another fun channel. Yeah, I found out about them through Star Wars Theory. They're like connected or whatever, however you want to say it. But yeah, thanks so much. That's another one of my favorite fantasy franchises, Harry Potter. It's good stuff. Actually, so before I read this one, I will say shout out also to my son's new YouTube channel, Nerd of the Bricks. It is a Lego YouTube channel. So you should all go check it out. Maybe Angel or somebody can post the link to it here in the chat. But yeah, we're building Legos together, and we're doing something really fun. We call it a trivia build, and we ask trivia questions back and forth as we're building the Lego set. So we filmed one where we built Lego Hogsmeade, and so we were asking Harry Potter trivia questions back and forth, and whichever one of us ended up with the higher score got the commemorative gold Ron Weasley that came with the set. And I won't spoil who wins. That video hasn't released yet. I'm still editing it. I won't spoil who wins, but I will tell you it came down to the final question. So it's pretty intense. But yeah, you should go subscribe to it, because we have some fun builds, including some Lord of the Rings builds. Shout out to Kella Brimbor. That guy sent us the Lego Orthanc Tower. So we'll be building that on that channel. And we also have the Lego Helm's Deep set that we'll be building on that channel. And we'll probably do a trivia build on those as well, where I'll ask him movie trivia questions and he'll ask me book trivia questions, so we can kind of, level the playing field a little bit at least. I'm still hoping that I wipe the floor with him, but we'll see. $100 super chat. Thank you so much. Yes, please, for more commissioned art. I want to see all things my brain isn't creative enough to visualize. Unrelated, has anyone from Amazon reached out to you for your expertise to help with the show? No, I don't think I'm qualified to help out with the show. I don't know. That would be cool though. My gosh. Yeah. I would jump at that opportunity, but no, I mean they probably have like actual Tolkien scholars who have like degrees and stuff in this stuff. Love the mini epics Gandalf and Pippin. Yes, they're back there. There's Gandalf. There's Merry right there. Pippin right there. Got some others. Yeah, like I said, I'm waiting for the nerd cave to be ready where I can really display those, because those are some of my favorites. Sarah, love the song Billy Boyd sang in Return of the King, since he came up with the melody to use to the Tolkien verse and sang it first take for the movie. Yeah, that's awesome. And also Vigo came up with the song when he sings about Beren and Luthien in the extended Fellowship of the Ring. That's another one. So yeah, super talented cast they had, for sure. Yeah, the other thing, so another connection to the Amazon show, fun fact, at the end of Return of the King, when Vigo sings his coronation song, those lines of dialogue are the same lines of dialogue spoken by Elendil when he comes out of the water upon Middle Earth after the fall of Numenor. So I would be very curious to hear to see if we get those lines of dialogue from Elendil in the new Amazon show, because that would be epic. I would love it. Something like "Out of the sea I am come," and then I'm blanking on the rest of it, but it's very good stuff. James Ferguson, thanks so much for the super chat. Local client, will we see Ungoliant Balrogs, dragons, or other creatures in the Amazon series? What creatures are you looking forward to? So I saw some posts on Twitter that allegedly on IMDb, it was giving credit to Weta for some things in special effects. I don't know how accurate that IMDb listing is, but if that holds true, I am super pumped, because I love whatever Weta does. But one of the things that was interesting on that listing was it described a warg unit. So I think we could see some wargs. Balrogs, almost certainly not. There's only one by this time, and that one is hidden deep in the mountain. Ungoliant would only come up if we see a prologue of like the destruction of the two trees, would be my guess. Dragons is kind of a wild card, because we don't meet any dragons in the Second Age, but there's not a whole lot of writing of dragons in the Second Age either. So I could see them, especially if they play out this whole storyline of the Rings of Power, because we know that multiple of the dwarven rings are consumed by dragons, but we're not told which dragons or where. So that's kind of one of those things up in the air, where Amazon could decide to fill in the gaps, so to speak. So yeah, who knows? We might see dragons. Just because, there's none described doesn't mean there weren't any around. Obviously, Smaug is around almost 3,000 years into the third age. So presumably there'd be dragons somewhere. How in the world did Bill the Pony make it back unhurt? Is Bill the 16th Vala? That must be it. It's got to be it. Yeah, it says that he knows the way, basically. Like when they let him go, it's like he knows the way. So if you've not read the books, you can rest assured that Bill the Pony makes it all the way back to Bree. He goes to Rivendell and then to Bree. And so by the time the hobbits are coming back from Rivendell themselves, they go to Bree, and then Butterbird's like, surprise, here's your pony. So he gets reunited with Sam. New member, thank you so much for becoming a new member. There we go. Angel's got the link for you. So go hit subscribe on my son's YouTube channel. He'll be super pumped. We've only released 2 little bitty videos so far, but we're gonna have a lot more coming. I'll definitely share here on the channel when we do the Lord of the Rings ones. Daltham Scramble says you should go on Friendship Onion with Billy and Dom. Also, which castle city from Tolkien would you love to be able to visit in real life? Man, yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know anyone who got invited to Friendship Onion wouldn't go on Friendship Onion. That'd be incredible. I don't think I'm quite the draw that probably their usual guests are, I would imagine. I think they have bigger fish to fry. In terms of Castle City, would I like to visit? Definitely Rivendell is way up there. If you're talking about city. As far as castle, like I'm guessing like a structure kind of thing. I'm not gonna lie, a few years ago when they had that like was it a GoFundMe or some page like that where someone was wanting like $1 billion to create Minas Tirith in real life. I was like, God, please, yes, that would be amazing. What I really want, so since we're talking about real life and this isn't a hypothetical of going to Middle Earth, I would love a Middle Earth theme park just like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I went there for the first time this past year and it was incredible. I loved it. And I would love the Middle Earth equivalent of that. Would be insane. And it would be like my new favorite place. Obviously, we have New Zealand. Like we can go visit the Shire, but I think a theme park where I could go and just like pull up to the Prancing Pony or the Green Dragon. Well, you can go to the Green Dragon, I guess, in New Zealand, obviously. But yeah, I would love to go to the Prancing Pony, get a pint. Be awesome. Henrik, congrats on 500K. Thanks so much, Henrik. Let's see here. So if they do make Lord of the Nazgul a Black Numenorian, the fans will still object. Well, I mean the Numenorian lords who became Nazgul were presumably Black Numenorians because they were loyal to Sauron. So yeah, that wouldn't make any sense for them to object to that. I had the impression that Gandalf put some spell of guidance on Bill outside of Moria. Yeah, I thought it was a spell of like protection or something, but you might be right. Maybe it was guidance. I was thinking protection. Now I'm going to have to go back and read it. Bill is a descendant of Nahar. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if ponies. I don't know about how horses and ponies work. Can ponies be descended from horses? because Nahar is definitely a horse. I thought they were like two separate things, but maybe I'm wrong. I grew up on a pig farm, not a horse farm, so. Old Deadeye, hello, love the channel. I've learned so much from you. Thanks so much. I think, let's see here. We need a new poll question. I feel like we should do another poll tonight before we sign off here. Give me some ideas for a poll question. What do you think is a good poll question? Celebrimbor, if they did all their Tolkien research exclusively through playing Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, I will never forgive Jeff Bezos. It's called The One Ring. How the Udun could I forge a second ring? Yeah. I doubt that that's I doubt that the lore is going to come from Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor. I do get a lot of questions occasionally, on and off about gosh, now I'm blanking on his name. Talion. Yeah. Talion from Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. Those are really fun games though. I would be up for a third Shadow of Mordor game, 100%. Because they're really fun. Kenrick, thank you so much. New to your channel, love the content. Favorite scene from extended editions? See, this is a tricky one because I watched the extended. For so long I've only watched the extended editions that I kind of forget what is extended and what's not in the regular edition. Well, shoot, there's almost an hour of stuff in Return of the King, so surely there's something there, right? Gosh. Oh, man, I'm blanking. Oh, man, this is funny. See, the thing is, I love all the extended stuff from the Lord of the Rings. Like, I think with the Hobbit films, it was a little more, I could take it or leave it. Some of them were great. Some of them, I was like, that's not like something that I have to see every time I watch it. Gosh, I'm struggling. I know. What do we see? Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. This is what happens when you only watch the extended editions for like 10 years. Heartseeker, heard your comment about getting used to hearing your own voice. My tour with you made me want to purchase a new mic. Can't wait to walk through Minas Tirith. Congrats on 500K. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Heartseeker from Artacraft, the Minecraft where they're creating Arda, Middle Earth in Minecraft. That was an awesome stream. That was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that one, I highly recommend checking it out. It is insane the amount of work that they've put into that, and it's all made in Minecraft and as book accurate as they could get. Like we talk through it and they strive to be book accurate. It's incredible. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm curious to hear your new mic now. I hope it's working out well. I wish the timeline worked out for our Farazan to be the Witch King. See, there's part of me that thinks they might do that in the show, but I really hope they don't. Because the whole thing with our Farazan is, he resents the mortality of men. And so his end, like being killed trying to make war on the Valar, makes a lot of sense. So yeah, in a weird way, he would kind of get what he wanted. I guess it would be a pretty twisted way to exist too, though, if you were the Nazgul. It's not exactly like elven immortality. But yeah, I still feel like the end that Tolkien wrote for him is more fitting. How good is How good is the 4K in Lord of the Rings? Real good. I really liked it. Yeah, it looks awesome on my TV. I love it. Timbo Took. Timbo Took. Haha, glad I just jumped on. Congrats on the 500K. Thanks, man. Timbo Took, friend of the channel. We did a live stream together not too terribly long ago where Timbo did one of his paintings live on my live stream. That was really cool. So you should check him out, Mr. It's like the Bob Ross of Middle Earth. The true Bob Ross of Middle Earth. I'm really concerned about who's going to be playing Sauron / Anatar. If the actor doesn't exceed my expectations, I'm going to be very disappointed. What do you think? That's a really great point. I think, especially depending on how much he has to do, how many lines he has, and how involved. I'm guessing, obviously, Sauron as a character is going to be way more involved in this show than he ever was on camera in the Peter Jackson films. It might be the most important role of the show, honestly, because if you don't have a good villain, then it's really hard to have a good adaptation or a good show or film or whatever. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I have no argument there. I think Sauron is a hugely important character. Yeah, I don't like worry about stuff until I see it. So, hopefully we get there and whoever the actor is that's playing him like blows our minds and is just like the most, manipulative, conniving Sauron ever. Because that's how I see him, is just like this master of manipulation that plays people off each other. He's so good at like making different races of men just fight each other. He pits Easterlings against men of the West and Haradrim against Haradrim, Easterling against Easterling, like just creates division, especially among men. Not to mention manipulating the elves into making really awesome jewelry. Andrew Carlisle, thanks as always for what you do. Can you elaborate on the maps of Middle Earth and why Balerion took a swim and the transition to Middle Earth? Okay, yeah. So basically, Balerion, which is where most of the events of the First Age take place. So most of the Silmarillion. At the end of the First Age is the War of Wrath, which is this massive battle between the host of the West. So that's a lot of elves, and it's kind of hinted at that there's some, there's definitely some Maiar in there, and possibly some Valar. I've seen like conflicting things on whether, people kind of debate whether is there any Valar involved, but so this massive host of the good guys, and then what we're told is an uncountable army for Morgoth. So it's just like this insane battle on a scale that, we've never seen in adaptations before. And so it's a 40-year-long war. So for 40 years, these massive armies are going at it. And basically the land of Beleriand is just destroyed, like totally laid waste. And it ends up sinking into the sea. And so that's how we get the Middle Earth map that we know from like the Lord of the Rings films and the Third Age. So there you go. Yes, 4K Lord of the Rings is amazing. What do I think about the Shire, and who's my favorite Hobbit? Bilbo Baggins. Yes. Bilbo Baggins is my favorite, for sure. And who doesn't love the Shire? Timbo, get painting. That's right. Hey, Steve, another wonderful Tolkien artist. Congrats on the 500K. Thanks, man. If you haven't seen Steve's work, I know he's on Instagram. I just recently followed him on Instagram. You should definitely do so as well. Great, great Tolkien work. Artwork, sorry. Who would win if Gimli and Éomer actually fought in the Two Towers? That's a good poll question. All right. Gimli versus Éomer. Who wins? That's two great characters, by the way. Two of my favorites. Yeah, Steve, one of my favorite Middle Earth artists. Welcome. Of Gondor thinks that Sauron is Ishmael Cruz Cordova. We'll see. We shall see. I see some Star Wars. I'm coming in the middle of a Star Wars conversation, but I saw the names Ian McDiarmid and Ewan McGregor. And I just had to note that I'm super pumped for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. The last episode of Boba Fett was really good. If I haven't said that already, I might have. Jack, thanks so much. So happy I could be one of the 500K subs. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being a subscriber. Yeah, so this is a great point I made in my breakdown, that in the Rings of Power title reveal, the water washes over the letters when she reads the line, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, which is a really cool moment. Yeah, so kind of foreshadowing the fall of Numenor, I think, there, which gave me goosebumps because like that could be insane. Yeah, that could be a huge, if I had to guess, I'm guessing it'd probably come in like season 2 finale at the earliest. That's my guess. I can't think that only after only 8 episodes they'd get rid of Numenor. I think there's too much there. Where can I get that hat? Also, my favorite elf is Fingolfin. What's yours? So this hat I got from I think it's wbshop.com. It's like the official like Warner Brothers store online. So I think they still have them. But fun fact, these were the hats that like excuse me, the Weta guys would wear on the set of Lord of the Rings. So if someone needed a Weta person, they would look for the eye of Sauron. So I'm told. What if Christopher Walken was cast as Sauron Anatar? Oh my gosh. What's Steve's handle on Instagram? Yeah, Steve, share your handle with us, man. Or if someone else has got it handy. I don't know it off the top of my head, unfortunately. Shout out to Andrew, staying up past his bedtime. Go to bed, Andrew. Thanks for stopping by, man. All right. I think a cool prologue to be used someplace would be seeing Melkor seducing Myron to be his greatest disciple, since there'd be the opportunity to give him greater depth. That could be, yeah. I think that's one of those, I could see that being a scene that's kind of high risk. Seeing Melkor and Sauron, especially, you know, two big important villains in a scene like that. Like you'd have to make sure you'd get that just right, I feel like. I don't think there'd be a lot of you know, wiggle room there. Like that would have to be an awesome scene. And like anything less than awesome would could very well fall flat. Having two Dark Lords in the same scene together. Yeah. I'm curious to see what they do in terms of a prologue, if they have a prologue. I could see it being like very brief. Maybe if it's very brief. I guess I immediately thought to like something with like dialogue and everything. But if it's like a brief moment and you see like Sauron become a Dark Lord, so to speak, I could see that being really cool. Thank you for your awesome content, Matt. I was already a Lord of the Rings fan, but after finding your channel, I've gotten way more into the Tolkien universe, and I've now read the Silmarillion and the Children of Hurin. Nice. That is awesome. I love it. Well, now you've got to make your way through Beren and Luthien and Fall of Gondolin, and then it's on to History of Middle Earth, my friend. Oh, Unfinished Tales as well. Unfinished Tales, that's a good one. Especially if you haven't read that yet, that's a good one, especially with the Amazon show coming out, because there's a fair amount of Numenor in there. But yeah, you're about ready to dive in the deep pool, the deep end of the pool. Absolutely. No Valar in the show. Yeah, I don't think there would be Valar. Again, that's one of those like high risk things, like because the Valar are so, we see Maiar, we see like wizards and stuff. We don't even really, we've never really seen them unleashed or anything. Yeah, I feel like because the Valar have to be on a whole nother level, from Maiar that we know. So if it's just like a guy, it might come off as kind of meh. Like I think of as awesome of actors as they are, but like you think of like Clash of the Titans, where they're these gods, but it's just the actors. It's just like Liam Neeson and Ralph Fiennes and all these people just standing in a room. Like there's no, like, it's hard to just make an actor just be like grandiose on like this whole other power level if they're just, if it's just gonna look like a dude. I don't know. That's just me. I'm just thinking out loud at this point. So Angel shared Steve's Instagram there. Sly Hands, that's what it is. I knew it wasn't just like Steve something. There was a kind of a nickname. This show needs Dave Filoni at the helm. I think he is a Lord of the Rings fan, actually. I've seen him post on social media like sketches that he's done of like Gandalf and Ahsoka and stuff, which is pretty cool. Winter's Lady was just geeking out with the Wheel of Time fam on their regular Wednesday night Dusty Wheel show with Matt Hatch. Now I'm here with the other Big Matt. That's awesome. That is a pretty fun back-to-back, I feel like. That's a nice double play of nerddom right there. Yeah, I've chatted with Matt from Dusty Wheel. He's been very patient with me as I was making my way through the show, having no former knowledge of Wheel of Time, and being like, dude, what the heck is this? What the heck is this thing about? What am I missing here? Thomas says, never would have thought a Lord of the Rings channel could hit 500K, but congrats. It's a great topic, and your voice is perfect for narration. See, you get a sense of how much I stumble and how much editing I do, that you guys think that I do a good job narrating, because been kind of rough here at times. But yeah, I don't. To be fair, it doesn't usually take me close to 2 hours to record a script, so I have that going for me. Yeah, thanks, Thomas. Lady of Andunier just became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. We'll probably go for let's maybe do like 5 more minutes, guys, and then we'll wrap it up. We've been going for almost 2 hours here. Man, we've had some really good chat tonight. You guys really brought it. And yeah, we've got some money together. I am really pumped. if you're coming in at the tail end of this, I said at the beginning, all super chat money from tonight, I'm going to be using to commission Middle Earth artwork from some of the great artists that you see here on the channel. So I'm really pumped about that. I think I don't have the number in front of me, but I know we've got a good pool here to draw from for commissioning art. So once this is over, I'll be able to see that in the stats here. I saw Andrew said 5 more hours. No, I don't think my voice could take that tonight. It's already feeling a little bit raw already. Oh, just check the WB site for the hat and it's not there. That's a bummer. You should check back sometime. See if they maybe, they'll find some in the back. Did you ask them to check in the back? Should ask Warner Bros. Check in the back. Voice of the Rings, thanks so much for stopping by, my friend. Nerd of the Rings, do you have any Lord of the Rings swords? I do have a Gandalf staff right here. This is the one from Moria that like has a crystal that lights up on the top. That's pretty awesome. I do also have Haragrim, which is the sword of Theoden. That's been one of my favorites for a long time, so I was really pumped to get that one. And then I have Orcrist and Sting, which I love bragging about this because I'm kind of a bargain hunter, and I managed to snag Orcrist and Sting on Craigslist back when I still shopped on Craigslist and stuff. Do people use Craigslist? I never hardly see any listings on Craigslist. But anyway, yeah, on Craigslist, I got Orcrist and Sting combined for $100. And it was amazing because I'm pretty sure they cost like twice that individually. Twizzler asks, is it just me or is Council of Elrond a super boring chapter? Dude, it is totally just you. Get out of here. Come on. Council of Elrond? That's where we find out what's happening in Erebor. And that's where we get like all this information from the corners of the world. And Boromir updates us on what's happening in Minas Tirith and Gondor. Nah, dude. Council of Elrond's. It's a good chapter, I think. Oh, well, yeah, it is long. I mean, spoiler alert, the book's long, man. Is it worth it to spend $150 to buy and read the History of Middle-earth books? Your channel inspired me to read all of Tolkien's works. So I didn't spend $150 on my set. I think I found mine on sale for, I want to say it was a little under $100 actually, for like the big 3. I think it's back here. Yeah, this one right behind plushy Gollum there. That box set was like a little under $100. I caught it on Amazon on super sale. Yeah, and I see a couple people posting that they've got it for around $100 and stuff. So what I would recommend, what you can do is look up, go to like Tolkien Gateway and type in History of Middle Earth, and it'll show you all the individual volumes that you need. And you can get the individual volumes secondhand, usually pretty cheap on either Amazon used or there's a lot of online booksellers and stuff. Yeah, I think that might be a cheaper method. It kind of depends on, how cheap you can get each individual book, but sometimes you can get some really good deals on like the paperbacks and stuff. Yeah. There you go. Try Craigslist, says Alan. Yes. Okay. So I was blanking on the names, but yeah, Book Depository and A-Books. I've also used a Libris, I believe, is the other one that I've used in the past. So yeah, check out some of those those online booksellers that sell used books. Tom G, another great piece of advice that I always give for getting through the Silmarillion is the audiobook, for sure. It's narrated by Martin Shaw. It's great. He has a very like I don't know how you would say it, like a regal voice. Like it just sounds grandiose, like a very grandiose voice. It fits really well with the Silmarillion because it's just so high fantasy and it just sounds more historical, I guess. It just really worked for me. It, yeah, so I would recommend that. I'd recommend listen to the audiobook to help you get through. Matthew Peters, what mystery about Middle Earth bothers or intrigues you the most? I don't know if I'd say any bother me. I always kind of appreciate the mysteries because I feel like that's part of what makes Tolkien's world feel real is that we don't know everything, but we know an awful lot. So it's like this great middle ground where he explains so much and there's so many connections between things. And, if you hear the name of a sword, chances are that sword has a history of its own. If you hear that someone is the son of so-and-so, chances are you can go find the story of so-and-so. And trace lineages and everything. But there's also those cool little mysteries. Blue Wizards is one that I gravitate toward. Just because I think it's interesting that, especially in his later life, Tolkien kind of hinted that they were at work in the East and the South and like, kind of making sure that the forces loyal to Sauron didn't outnumber the men of the West. So my mind immediately goes to like there being civil war in these realms and the Blue Wizards kind of being like Gandalf was for the men of the West, but they're for the men of the South and the East. Leading them, basically there's probably like civil wars going on in the East and in Harad, in Rune and Harad. During these times between those who are loyal to Sauron and those who refuse to serve Sauron. And then you've got the Blue Wizards helping on the side of good, which is really cool. All right. Jacob says, any news on the Amazon thing? I heard it's going to be a disaster. Well, the news on the Amazon thing is that it's titled The Rings of Power. And if that's enough to determine that it is a disaster, then I guess it's going to be a disaster for you. For me, I'm not, I don't think the title is anything to condemn a show for. So yeah, I'm pumped to see an actual trailer whenever it comes out. And I'm curious to see the show. I hope it's really freaking good because that would be amazing. I'd love nothing more than to spend the next 5 years covering and talking about an awesome Lord of the Rings TV show. That sounds amazing. So we'll see. Yeah. All we really know is that Morvid Clark is playing Galadriel, and it takes place in the Second Age, and it's called Rings of Power. So there you go. That's the official information that we have. And it's heavily rumored that Howard Shore is coming back. If you saw my breakdown video, there was like a since deleted comment made by one of the Amazon accounts that kind of hinted that Howard Shore was coming back. So they're probably saving that announcement, but we'll see. I think there's a pretty good chance. In your opinion, what would a confrontation look like if Sauron met Tom Bombadil? There'd be singing. For sure, there would be singing. Definitely. Because you have to remember, in the first age, Sauron and Galadriel's brother, Finrod, battled with songs of power. So I have to believe that Tom Bombadil and Sauron might partake in power ballads, so to speak. That's what people mean by when they say power ballads, right? It's people fighting with song. That's my guess. Bombadil's pretty awesome though. Okay, so the answer to our poll that I kind of forgot that we had going was 71% say Gimli would defeat Eomer. Well, there you go. Celebrimbor, Blue Wizard Theory. What if they were sent by Ulmo in order to maintain the waterways and allow his presence in the east to be unhindered even as Sauron's power grew? Is that because they're blue and water is blue? Is that the connection there? I'm not really sure. It's an interesting theory. I think we're kind of led to believe that by this time the Valar have kind of withdrawn from the world after the whole they're probably about done with Middle Earth by the time of the War of Wrath, and then you've got the Numenorians trying to attack them and stuff, and they're probably like, you know what, we'll just leave them be. Yeah. Lady of Indunier pointed out that we have 903 signatures on the Mithril Edition petition. That kind of sounds fun. Mithril Edition petition. So check that out in the description. It explains all of it on the petition page, what it is. Essentially, it's the extended, double extended cut of Lord of the Rings, plus all the deleted scenes and bonus features that we've still never seen. We know there's other deleted scenes. We've never seen the deleted scenes of Arwen at Helm's Deep, for example. Or there's one of Gimli looking at a gem in what appears to be the Glittering Caves, maybe in an epilogue moment. And we've never seen those things. So check out that petition. Sign it. That would be awesome if we got 1,000. I'd be pretty pumped with that. Jacob, thanks so much for the super chat. Congrats, Matt. I'm personally excited to see how they write Anatar's ascent from a prisoner to council of the King of Numenor on screen. Yeah, that's a really good point, because it's a really short time span that he goes from being a prisoner in Numenor to becoming the king's chief counselor, which is crazy. And that's where Sauron, the master manipulator, has to come in. And one of those moments where the actor portraying him really needs to, bring his A game, so to speak, and really portray that manipulation aspect of Sauron. It could be really, really good. I'm hoping it is. I could see that being a really compelling part of the show. When Gandalf died after beating the Balrog and was sent back, was Eru Ilúvatar the only one who could have resurrected him? Yes, so we are told that was the work of Ilúvatar, sending Gandalf back. Now, the Valar can re-embody elves who go to the halls of Mandos when they die. So we're told that's how Glorfindel, that's the most prominent example of an elf who died and then was re-embodied in Valinor. And I think he's the only one who then goes back to Middle Earth. The rest would just stay in Valinor. Like, for example, Galadriel's brother, Finrod. All right. Okay, guys. Well, I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the super chats. I am super, super pumped. Yeah, of Gondor points out that I said 5 minutes 15 minutes ago. Um, I'm super, super pumped. All these super chats. We're gonna be able to commission some art to use here on the channel and to share with the Tolkien community. I don't want to like hoard these pieces of art that we're having commissioned. Like these are going to be for everyone to enjoy. Um, I've actually already started. Like I contacted an artist that I know, and he's actually currently working on a piece of a young Theoden on his throne as he becomes king of Rohan. So I'm hoping, I think that one will end up being in the video on Saturday. Hoping to have that done on Friday so I have time to edit it in. But yeah, I'm super super pumped about this, guys. We'll keep you all updated. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters who make the channel possible, and I will certainly be in the Discord posting updates when it comes to these commissions and behind the scenes look at this artwork. So if you're interested in that, check out my Patreon page where you can support the channel. We'll hopefully do this again fairly soon, maybe 750,000 subscribers. We'll see when that happens, if it happens. But yeah, until then, we'll see you next time. Don't forget, next Wednesday we'll see you for the interview with Daniel Falconer of Weta. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Nerd of the Rings.